Here are some corrections for your section 6.3 homework, which was on page 148 in your textbook. Question 20 said, how can the periodic table be used to determine the charge of an ion? Use a specific example to explain. Remember, we're talking about this idea that group 1A has one valence electron, so its choices are lose 1 or gain 7. It's going to lose 1, so it has a charge of plus 1. Group 2A has two valence electrons, so its choices are lose 2 or gain 6. So it's going to lose 2, so they all have a charge of positive 2, every element in this group of the periodic table. For group 3A, we have three valence electrons, so our choices are lose 3 or gain 5. They're going to lose 3, so they're a positive 3, okay? Which pretty much is, honestly, going to be just boron and aluminum. Okay. Group 4A has four valence electrons, and so they either could gain 4 or lose 4, which is why, okay, we don't typically talk about them. They're usually going to be involved in sharing electrons rather than gaining or losing electrons. So group 5A has 5 valence electrons, so it could lose 5 or they could gain 3. They're going to gain 3, so they have a charge of negative 3. So the elements in this group that are nonmetals, which again pretty much are going to be arsenic and antimony sometimes, but oftentimes they're going to be more likely to be metals as well. Next, we have group 6A, which has 6 valence electrons, so they could lose 6 or gain 2. They're going to gain 2, so they have a negative 2 charge. Okay. And then we come to group 7A, which has 7 valence electrons, so they could lose 7 or gain 1. They're going to gain 1, so they have a negative 1 charge. So that's what it's talking about. You could have used any of those as an example. Question 21. Explain what is meant by a polyatomic ion. If we just look at the word itself, right? Ion means we're going to have either a positive or a negative charge, right? Atomic means atoms. Poly means multiple. So we're talking about something that's made of multiple atoms having a positive or negative charge. Polyatomic ions contain 2 or more tightly bound atoms that behave as a unit and carry a charge. 22. Using only the periodic table, name and write the formula for the typical ion of each representative element. Letter A is potassium, so here is my potassium. It's in group 1A, so it is going to be easier for it to lose 1 electron than to gain 7. So my symbol is K plus 1. That would be my formula. And again, you're welcome to write a 1 there. You don't have to, though. Okay. In terms of naming it, remember cations, it's the element name plus the word ion. So this is potassium ion. So next I have sulfur. So here's sulfur on my periodic table. It's in group 6A, so it can lose 6 electrons or gain 2. It's going to gain 2, so it's going to be S with a negative 2 charge. And remember, anions, when we name them, they lose their element name ending, and they get "ide", so this will be sulfide. Next we have argon. Argon is right here. It already has 8 valence electrons, so it's not going to get a charge, so its symbol is just going to be argon, and its name is still going to be argon. There's no change. It doesn't become a positively or negatively charged ion. Next, we have bromine. Bromine is right here on the periodic table. Bromine is in group 7A, so it has 7 valence electrons, so it could lose 7 or gain 1. It's going to gain 1, so it's going to have a -1 charge. And again, it's going to lose its ending and get an ide, so it is bromide. Next, we have beryllium. Beryllium is right here. It's in group 2A, so it has 2 valence electrons, so it could lose 2 or gain 6. It's going to lose 2, so it's going to be beryllium with a +2 charge. And again, positively charged ions, we just name them with their element name and the word ion, so it's beryllium ion. And last we have sodium. Sodium is right here on our periodic table. It's in group 1A. So it could lose 1 or gain 7. It's going to lose 1, so it's Na with a +1 charge. And again, I'm going to name it sodium plus the word ion. Question 23, write the formula including charge for each ion. Letter A, ammonium. That's one you have memorized. That's on your 10 polyatomic ions to memorize. Ammonium is NH4 with a charge of +1. Tin 2 ion. Remember, this Roman numeral is telling me the charge on this tin. So tin symbol is SN, and its charge would be +2. Letter C, chromate. Chromate, again, is one of the polyatomic ions you have memorized. Chromate is CrO4 with a charge of -2. Nitrate, another one of your 10 polyatomic ions you're memorizing. It's NO3 with a -1 charge. Cyanide, that's not a polyatomic ion you have memorized, so you're going to look at your helper sheet and find cyanide, which is Cn with a charge of -1. Iron 3 ion, again, this 3 is telling me the charge on that iron, so iron symbol is Fe with a charge of +3. Permanganate, permanganate is another one of the 10 polyatomic ions that you are memorizing. Permanganate is MnO4 with a charge of -1. And lastly, manganese 2 ion. Again, that 2 is telling me the charge on manganese. So manganese's symbol is Mn, and it has a charge of +2. So hopefully that helps you a little bit if you had some questions about your homework. Have a good day.